about fluidal energy respectively, fluidal powers and other things. Questions and answers. Excerpts from Kitchen Conversations, Voice of the Aquarian Age, Introduction to Meditation, The Spiritual Teachings, and Pleiadian Pleiadian Contact Conversations, put together by Bridget Keller. Elaboration, Billy Edward Albert Meyer. Copyright 2007, pages 6-13. For the purpose of understanding words, psychokinesis means the effect that the human psyche, and the entire block of mentality, have on the world of material objects, without other causes coming into play. Psychokinesis is elicited by mere thinking or wishing, and so forth, as a rule, unconsciously. Psychotelekinesis results when long-stored, mental, fluidal powers are brought, from the block of mentality, in an unconscious way, to manifestation over greater distances, as a result of factors of physic damage. Telekinesis relates to such movements when it deals with a considerable distance over which a human, living at the given time, consciously, at that time, moves a material object by way of his mental powers alone. In both cases, all kinds of objects can be moved as a result of the block of mentality's mental powers, whereby the thoughts, feelings, psyche and the consciousness constitute this block. With this, the psyche is the determining factor if the action is executed unconsciously. If the process is consciously desired, then the thoughts and the consciousness determine the entire occurrence. Psychopyrokinesis is the state whereby the human psyche and the mental powers unconsciously affect the world of material objects, without another cause coming into play, whereby fire is caused by means of unconscious thoughts or wishes. If the event is brought about consciously, then the term pyrokinesis is used. Psychomaterialkinesis is based on this effect, when the influence of the human psyche and all the powers of the block of mentality, in an unconscious manner, produce effects on the world of material objects in such a way that the materials become defective or bent, and so forth. Materialkinesis applies to that occurrence when, in a conscious and desired manner, material things are altered in their molecular structure and are brought to the point of being broken or deformed, and so forth, by means of the block of mentality and the mental fluidal powers which arise from it. Levitation means the subjective, unaided lifting, which can be experienced, of the weight of the body, and the floating of the body, in space, and, indeed, solely as a result of the block of mentality's mental fluidal powers. Teleplasty is the conscious generation of shadowy forms and projections by means of the block of mentality's powers. With this, however, if the human psyche, in cooperation with the entirety of the mental powers, is the actual trigger of the phenomena, then the projections are completely unconsciously evoked. In this case it then deals with an apparition in the form of psychoteleplasty. However, this phenomenon has, in no way, anything to do with the materialization of ghosts/spirits, as these materialization phenomena are interpreted and explained by spiritualism. Actually, with that, it therefore does not deal with so-called ectoplasm apparitions, respectively, teleplasma apparitions, from which the term teleplasty has recently appeared. Translator's note: teleplasma is a Greek word used in German, but not English, if these materialization phenomena are unconsciously evoked as a result of certain damaged states of the psyche, then it is psychoteleplasty. Therefore, none of that, neither in one form nor the other, has anything to do with the so-called ectoplasm apparitions of spiritualism. Teleportation means that a body, respectively, an object, can, in an invisible process similar to beaming, be moved quite consciously from one location to another as a result of the powers of the block of mentality, respectively, of the thoughts, feelings, psyche and consciousness alone. If all that happens in a completely unconscious manner, then the entire occurrence is controlled and triggered as a result of the state of the psyche. Thereby the term psychoteleportation is used. The term psychotekinesis is based on the phenomenon whereby humans who suffer from a specific psychophysical form, respectively, possession, physically injure themselves as a result of their own mental powers and can even sexually rape themselves in this way. Psychopyrokinesis is a term for the mentally triggered process of self-burning. With pyrokinesis, an ignition of desired materials results due to quite consciously engendered, regulated and controlled mental powers of the block of mentality's electromagnetic oscillations. In contrast to that is psychopyrokinesis, which is evoked in an unconscious and uncontrollable manner by the powers of a damaged psychic state. Due to ignorance in parapsychology, and so forth, teleportation and telekinesis are often erroneously equated, which, however, is incorrect, because they basically deal with two different factors. Telekinesis is a product of mental fluidal powers, engendered at a given time, respectively. It is the powers of electromagnetic oscillations which are consciously created and brought into effect directly as a result of the block of mentality of a human living in the given time, whereby, in a materially visible manner, material bodies, respectively, objects, move and are transported and, indeed, without the assistance of any kind of material aid. On the other hand, teleportation is based on bodies, items or other kinds of material objects, being invisibly transported, in a consciously desired and controlled manner, from one location to another at the speed of light, and, indeed, likewise as a result of the block of mentality's power, respectively, as a result of the mental fluidal powers, thoughts, feelings and psyche as well as the consciousness, respectively, as a result of the powers of the mental electromagnetic oscillations of the block of mentality. This term, as it is used in words such as psychoteleportation, psychotelekinesis or psychoteleplasty, and so forth, means that the pertinent phenomenon is triggered in a completely unconscious manner, solely as a result of a psyche's damaged state, and emerges from it. Consequently, the human therefore has no knowledge that he suffers from psychic problems, and, as a result of that, triggers the phenomenon via his psyche and his block of mentality, respectively, as a result of its mental fluidal powers. In contrast to that is the completely conscious form, such as, for example, telepathy, teleportation and telekinesis, and so forth, in which the term psycho is not a prefix. That means that the aforementioned forms are completely consciously and volitionally engendered as a result of the mental fluidal powers, respectively, as a result of the block of mentality and its electromagnetic oscillations and its powers. Consequently, the phenomena are therefore consciously engendered, regulated and controlled. These differences are, in their actuality, obviously still not known to parapsychological research, because these kinds of explanations are nowhere to be found within specialist parapsychological texts. That is also the case with other parascientific things and facts, whereby even the most various terminologies are included in regard to the most various parapsychological phenomena. Kinetics deals with the study of motion under the influence of internal or external powers. Therefore, movements, unconsciously triggered by the psyche, which are identified by a word prefixed with the term psycho, as, for example, psychokinetics or psychotelekinetics, and so forth,